I have with me our chief guest for today, Rehan Poncha, who's an Olympian swimmer and Arjuna Awardee. He's been such a terrific motivational speaker for everyone present here today. He conducts swimming workshops, he does travel shows, and he's great at his job as always. Rehan, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
At the Cooperage Football Stadium in Mumbai, such a massive occasion of the Harwood Champions Football League. It's nostalgia just looking at football live for you today.
Right. I think that first of all, just being here is an honor. It's a privilege to be among athletes who are doing so well for themselves and for the sport. I felt excited enough to want to go back to swimming practice tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And to see a match live is something that I've not done in a very long time. So that was special, and of course, just to be part of a movement or an event that aims at growing sport within the state is something that I feel is very special, and I'm lucky to be part of.
This is one of your first football live matches that
Yes.
you have witnessed. It must be so special because you're going to remember this for a lifetime to come.
Absolutely.
Plus, you were the chief guest of this grand event. What is it that you would like to say?
I think that I mentioned this when I was giving my little speech to the athletes.
Yeah.
All the footballers, just to watch them warm up was so impressive, to see how fit they are and how at the top of their game they are.
Yes.
It was fantastic. And of course, to watch a match live, though it's cut short, I have to leave. But I'm going to make sure I come back and watch a proper 90-minute football match live again, because this has inspired me to follow the sport more, to support the sport more. And of course, it is an honor to be called a chief guest, so to speak. But I feel like I'm just one of their fellow athletes celebrating the game and celebrating the growth of the game.
You've been an athlete yourself, and we always say, the athlete, the sports person in us never leaves right till the very end. You being that sports personality yourself, what is it that you would love to share with everyone present here? Because दर्शकों से कहना बहुत important है कि आके जितना हो सके मुंबई फुटबॉल को सपोर्ट कीजिए, उनको रिवाइव कीजिए वापस.
Absolutely. I think that for fans, for especially young kids,
Yes.
I think it is very important to have exposure to this sort of sport, this sort of competition, because only when a young kid gets to sit and watch what is possible.
Correct.
In terms of building his own athletic ability to play like these young men are behind us, is when it sets off that little spark inside that says, I can also do this, I want to
Absolutely.
be like this. So today we are at a football match. I'm sure the stands are filling up with youngsters. There are so many schools around in this area. I'd love for collaborations to be done with schools where, in their PT periods, in their physical education time, they are brought in here in the day to watch matches like this. I feel like I grew up to be whoever I was in the pool because I got to watch the best swimmers in the world compete when I was little. So to have children around and expose them to a sport like this, I
Yes.
think should be the goal of the league, and I'm sure it is, where, like I said, the stands will be full hopefully next year, and I can still be a part of it.
What is the influence that sports has had on your life, Rehan? Because you've said that when you started off, you never knew whether you can take the first step in the world of athletics, and then you went on to create history, being an Olympian swimmer, and then you had possibly some little problems with chlorine related
Right.
issues as well, but
Right.
you overcame all of that as an athlete. I'm sure you've had your fair bit of challenges. How did you overcome them?
I think the word you talk of overcoming a challenge,
Yeah.
that in itself is what sport is to me. I think that is what the definition of sport is, to be able to set a goal, to be able to accept that there are going to be challenges, there are going to be hurdles, but in spite of those hurdles you come out on top. You fight them and then you realize your dreams. And when you ask about what sport means to me, I think everything I am today in terms of my character that is built because
Yes.
of a lifetime in sport. Sport teaches you to be who you are, irrespective of whether you still play it or not. I don't swim tomorrow morning,
Yes.
but all the lessons I've learned from that lifetime in sport, from the pool, I now take to my second sport, which is competitive golf, and to anything that I choose to do in life. Because at the end of the day, whether it is a sport or an office or any other work you do, you're going to have hurdles that you have to overcome. And I think most importantly, what sport taught me is to have a very strong sense of self and to have a strong sense of who I am.
Yeah.
And when I coach youngsters today, this is what I see, that athletes, young athletes, that are part of a sport and have a goal are so solid and sure about who they are, and that sense of belief and that sense of pride in who they are is what carries them through life's challenges and also eventually into all walks of life, which is why I tell every youngster today, if you have an opportunity, learn a sport, pursue it. And to parents as well, if you have an opportunity and you're lucky enough to have access to a club or a ground or a swimming pool or whatever it may be, make your child play sport. It does not have to be to become an Olympian only. It teaches you so many lessons in life.
Absolutely.
As you can see here.
There's always the word possible even in impossible, and you are a living example of that, Rehan. What is the best advice that you have received as a sports person that you would like to share with everyone listening to this great interview of yours, that come out there on the field, pick up a sport, leave your devices aside? What is the best advice you have received? And हम कहते हैं ना, वो गांठ बांधने वाली चीज जो है वो क्या है?
I think that for me, it's two. Your question needs a twofold answer. The first is that you mentioned, leave your iPads and your electronics aside. I think for youngsters, like I said, the biggest advice I would give parents today is to get your kids out of the living room, out of their bedrooms, put away your gadgets and get them onto a field. Get them onto a soccer pitch, get them onto a cricket field, get them into archery, badminton, swimming pool, whatever it may be, but get them playing sport.
Absolutely.
Anything, to be active today it's a unique thing. In the past 20-30 years back, it was taken for granted that we finish school, we run down and we play downstairs. Today play means multiplayer games on the iPad, unfortunately. And I think in terms of lessons I learned this not because of advice from anybody else, but because of the lesson that my sport taught me, is that for athletes, for every athlete, success comes at a different time in life. Some athletes get success very quickly because they are ridiculously talented and fairly hardworking, and some athletes like myself, success takes time, and for that to happen you have to have patience. So I think the greatest lesson I learned from sport was, if you work hard over a period of time, things will turn for you, things will happen for you. It just takes resilience and a lot of patience and of course hard work that we all put in.
Absolutely. And the Harwood Football League, it's a revival culture for Mumbai football especially. You would love to see so many athletes coming and pitching in at the highest of levels, so we can maybe take it later on to the Rovers Cup. But Rehan, for that to happen, what do you think would be the next step forward to have so many people help in reviving football culture in Mumbai?
I think I think it is a gallery full of people who want to watch the sport.
Okay.
And I think it is viewership on television and online as well. Because at the end of the day, for a sport to be successful within any country, I think sadly it has to come down to how much money is funneled into the sport, right? And that when you talk about money, you look for sponsors, you look for corporate sponsors, and for a corporate sponsor to get involved, he has to know that his branding is going to get looked at, whether it's on television or on social media.
Correct.
So my advice or my strategy plan would be to make sure that events such as this go up everywhere and they are seen by as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
The day you guys are on television, that day you would have more funds that you know what you have to do with.
Absolutely. And with your support and so many big athletes coming into the picture, thank you so much for being here today, Rehan. It's an honor, a privilege. You said yes in a jiffy, so really appreciate that. Thank you.
I love being here. Thank you very much.